Hello guys, and welcome to a new Still Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 2 of a best of 3 between Lennart and Cadilakor, and this is round 2 of the Great Paradox Tourney. So today we are seeing the map Cheux and a swap of factions for both players. 3rd Armoured for Cadilakor and 91st Luftlandr for Lennart. Now Lennart in the previous game beat Cadilakor with the 2nd Infantry Division, and that means that Cadilakor this time round needs to win this game in order to stay in the tournament. Otherwise Lennart will be moving on to round 3. Now this matchup that we're looking at today is actually pretty cool. It's 3rd Armoured versus 91st Luftlandr, and that's a matchup that goes all the way back to the beta when there was only like 4 divisions in the game. So that's really cool. And we'll see if either player can use their experience in order to win the game. Now a lot has changed since then, especially between these 2 divisions. But I still think that it's going to come down to the early Phase A for Lennart doing pretty well and Phase B. And then like Phase C is all going to be down to the 3rd Armoured to smash the 91st Luftlandr really hard. Because if Lennart runs out of elite infantry and ways to stop the armour from moving forwards, is going to be in a very bad spot. And that's generally what tends to happen. As soon as like things like jumbos come in and the AT guns of the 91st Luftlandr can't really deal with them, that's when you have problems, and that's when the 91st has to rely on their air force, which can be unreliable with those HS-129s. So that's kind of what to expect throughout this game. That's not to say that Cadilakor can't do a lot of damage in Phase A, because if he gets the right shots off and maybe hits a few units with mortars and so on, he can do a lot of damage. There's also other interesting ways to counter the 91st Luftlandr and what they bring in. And we can actually see that up on the top side here. This was actually what I was kind of thinking about. The Bofors, I think that probably is in a half track. And Bofors are really good for dealing with things like IGs and Pack 36s that the 91st can bring along, especially if the Bofors gets off the first shot, because the Bofors can like pin down an IG, for example, and then just hammer it until it dies. And the IGs and Packs are very susceptible to that kind of attack. So if that works out for Cadilakor, that would be very nice on the top side. What I kind of expect from Lennart though is maybe the Pack 40 that they gain access to in Phase A, but it doesn't look like it's gone down, as it comes, I believe, in a different vehicle to a Kubel. And up here we have the Kubel, probably with the Pack 36, IG-18, Ersatz Recon. Further down, Fallschirmjägers with Command Infantry. Even further down it looks like some Recon there with the Ersatz and AT gun. That's going to be a Pack 36 again. We do have an MG heading towards the middle of the map that's likely to go a building like this, which is actually really good for the 800 meter range engagement that the MG can provide. And then on the bottom side we have 3 units of Ersatz with a Fallschirmjäger, Command Infantry and a mortar there. On the other side, however, it's just 2 units of armoured rifles with the armoured leader. So this force could be pretty easily overrun in the town. It does have an advantage there because his units are elite, but not necessarily because they have more HE, because at 100 meter range the armoured rifles, I believe, have about the same HE as Fallschirmjägers, so that's something to consider. But the half track should come in handy, and as long as he can keep them out of range of the Panzerfaust of the Fallschirmjägers, he might be okay there. But we are underway, and a +1 already for Lennart. It seems that his units are moving a lot faster, and that will allow him to get into some nice positions down here by the looks of things. But fast move and then unload at position commands for Lennart. That's what he set up, not relying on the unload position there. That's just like a fast move and then shift unload. On the top side, things pretty spread out. IG-18, Pack 36. Be interested to see what sort of recon squads these are, because they do have access to Panzer Abwehrs, and that is what Lennart is going to be bringing both on the top side and in the mid. So Erzat's actually bumping into the half-tracks here. We have Ulig taking up position with the Fallschirmjägers. But now it looks like the 50mm mortars are going to go down, and well, that's actually dropping smoke in front of the Erzats, which may be used to try and move the Erzats and the Fallschirmjägers forwards into range of these half-tracks. We'll have to wait and see. 50 cal has found the Pak 36 here. That's the M16 MGMC firing 4 50 cals at this Pak 36. And that might allow a surrender very early on that AT gun, which would be fantastic for Cadilakor. Currently, he's not actually causing it to surrender, but at that close range might just kill it anyway. I'm not entirely sure why that isn't surrendering. Maybe it's because the M3 half-track's almost cut off. But with these armoured rifles moving towards the Erzats, those will be revealed shortly, and that will definitely open up a big salient in the middle of the map. However, the same might happen on the bottom side, as the smoke has been enough to allow the Erzats troopen to move up, engage the armoured rifles, take out the half-track next door. And yeah, that's the last unit of armoured rifles. Looks like the town may be under full control of a.Lennart very shortly. In the top side, the scouts were found, and the Bofors is starting to engage the IG, but with it being pinned down like that, the IG just took it out in 2 shots. So maybe it didn't work out so well after all. It's generally one of those things that just works better against like the Pak 36s early on, because they don't have any HE to fire back. And also, you know, just in general against infantry, Bofors work pretty well, but maybe it's not quite there to counter the IG, just the rest of those units. And the IG being brought in caught Cadilakor off guard up there. So an M5A1 going to be brought in to the bottom side. M3 half-tracks making a run for it as the Panzer 39s start to arrive on the field. This Panzer 39 can definitely go for some shots onto the M3 half-track. However, I'm not convinced of this engagement with the M5A1 versus the Panzer 39. That might not work out so well. But if this Panzer 39 can get the kill onto the MGMC, that's going to be well worth it, because the half-tracks are dead. And if that MGMC goes down, no, that's only one unit he's got to take care of now. And we see the Opel Blitz arriving with what is probably the Pak 40. Indeed it is. So that Pak 40, if it drops off within, you know, 1,000 meter range, it's going to have plenty of shots to kill off this M5A1. And once that's dead, a.Lennart quite safely deals with the center push there. Now the rifle's still, you know, causing a little bit of a salient, but that's just about cleaned up by the Pak 40, as that is now going to attack, move forwards. Also some Fallschirmjägers are rolling on up as well. So a +1 actually for a.Lennart, even with this little territory advantage in the middle for Cadilakor. And that's quite simply because this entire bottom side of the map is now controlled by a.Lennart, and it looks like a.Lennart's going to be trying to reinforce that with a unit of Ersatztruppen. IG-18 still moving forwards there. Looks like a recon squad was taken out. The Scot is a little bit of an issue up here, but a.Lennart has the IG-18 in a position where the Scot can't get line of sight. And the Pak 38 is waiting to take that shot. And I believe a.Lennart will let the Scot get as close as possible before he fires, because he definitely wants to be able to penetrate that Scot. Have to see if that works out. Let's just keep an eye on all of the map down here. 50mm mortar is going to be smoking off the MG34 as it starts to be engaged by the M5A1. So good job by a.Lennart. And in the middle of the map, the armoured rifles are going to have to fall back from the Fallschirmjägers. Pak 36 took its shot. Oh, first shot missed, but the second one didn't. Straight into the front armour of the Scot there, enough to kill it off. And that gives a lot of territory over to a.Lennart on this top side. He might also clean up the middle of the map as well. Now, it's quite often that you see like a player concentrate in one area and break through. But at the moment, it looks as though Cadilakor may just be spread a little bit too thin, and it's really starting to hurt him as he can't cover the entirety of the map like Lennart can with his Ersatztruppen. The M3A1 here is travelling down to the bottom side. I think I would like to see this even push for this tree line, because like that has a 50 cal, and any infantry that's coming out in the open down here would get absolutely torn to pieces by that. But anyway, Ersatztruppen have found those armoured rifles and the Fallschirmjäger's opening up. At that range, the M5A1 with the 1 HE on its main gun isn't going to do anything to that infantry. Pack 40 still rolling from the back line forwards, but we're already at a +2 for Lennart in this game. 3 minutes left in Phase B, and when we hit Phase B, we will likely see things like KHS-129s come out, but on the same vein, Cadilakor may bring out a jumbo or something, which could swing this game back in his favour, but it's going to be a lot of work, and if this +2 sticks around, then things could get very difficult indeed. Panzer 39, is that going to look for a shot onto the M5A1? It could definitely try and pin down the M5A1, but instead it looks like that's brought over there in order to engage the M3 half-track instead. Now, as long as he sits behind these trees, the M4A1 that's now been brought up can't engage him, and that's fine. But this M3 half-track, that needs to survive, and so does the infantry. And this M4A1 is going to need to be microed meticulously in order to take care of the IG-18 and Pack 36 up there, especially if they get revealed by the infantry half-track combo. Having another M4A1 on the top side would be a nice idea. And the reason that an M4A1 is just so much better than an M5A1 in that situation is because of the 5 HE on the main gun at 1000 meter range. But the recon going to be getting killed there. Looks like we are in machine gun range for the M4A1 and the M5A1, but with the Pack 40 slowly moving up, that is going to prevent Cadilakor from safely engaging onto that infantry. Ersatz did find their way into the bottom tree line here, and that has given a lot of ground over to Lennart. On the top, IG-18 going to be engaging the armoured rifles and the half-track. So it's the half-track taking a beating first, and it looks like the Pack 36 is going to be finding that kill. Really up to this M4A or M5A1 to just rush down this IG-18. Like, quite simply, the only way you can deal with that is by moving up and getting into machine gun range. Yes, you can hit it directly and do 1 damage a shot, but that's definitely going to take a while. 3 out of 3. Isn't too bad. I believe it actually missed its first shot, but still, can the last one hit? No, it can't. Maybe just one more. The thing is, the longer that this takes, the more the IG-18 panics the M5A1, and that just makes it really inaccurate. Okay, so IG finally gone down there. That will definitely give some respite to the armoured rifles as they push up again. Here comes the ME-109 G2 BR-21, going to be going for the rocket strike onto the M5A1 there. And Lennart is going to try and charge that with his Panzer 39. However, it looks as though he has spotted the M4A1 rolling around the corner and doesn't want to be in line of sight of that anytime soon. Now this Pack 36 needs to find a shot onto the M5A1, because this could very easily go in favour of Cadilakor if the M5A1 kills off the Pack 36, but Panzer Abwehr are in range. I would not be surprised to see that Panzerschreck do its job, and there it most definitely did. Now the machine guns are going to open up, but I think the Panzer Abwehr should get another shot off and kill the Stuart entirely, and that it does. So M4A1 slamming some Ersatz, but the Panzer Abwehr getting very close indeed. Side shot onto the M4A1. Panzerabwehr doing their job in this game. That is scary. That Panzerschreck at 250 meter range is just incredibly hard to deal with, especially when the squads are so damn hard to see. And you could say to Cadilakor, oh, why didn't you bring recon? But he probably just can't afford it. He's already brought in some, and it's got killed. And probably can't afford the recon that he has left over, but making that Panzerabwehr surrender on the top side is actually pretty nice. The armoured rifles are still making ground and might be able to find the Pak 36, so that would be good. But the Cheux 42 is on its way, and with the Stuart out of the way and the M4A1 in the mid, this Cheux 42 will be relatively uncontested at the moment. We have moved into Phase B, however, so Cadilakor maybe will invest in a jumbo in order to contest the open ground. He could also go for other Shermans, but another Stuart dying to the same Panzerabwehr squad, that is a mistake right there. Like, I excuse the first kill, like the M4A1, you didn't know this was coming. Like, Cadilakor could not see that Panzerabwehr unless he had recon. But the second time you let it happen to the same squad, that is a mistake. A big mistake. ME109 G2 BR21 going to be saving the Pak 36 for now, and it seems as though the Fallschirmjägers have found shots onto the armoured rifles, but the half-track is here, and I'd like to see that provide some cover, although the Pak 36, oh, that could easily kill off the M3 half-track there. The Scot has found line of sight onto the Fallschirmjägers, that should help out a lot. And indeed, here comes a jumbo, accompanied by an M16 MGMC, which is actually pretty damn important because, like I was saying at the beginning of the game, the main thing that the 91st Luftlander can use to kill a jumbo is a HS-129. Just don't let the AA get killed by the Pak 36, otherwise Cadilakor is going to be in big trouble up here. So the 91st Luftlander getting this lead early on is not uncommon just because of the ersatz spam, and basically the units in Phase A just overwhelm what the 3rd Armoured can bring. But now we're moving into Phase B, you know, Cadilakor might be able to bring this back. The trouble is we've already over 1,000 points. Normally you'd only see like a +1 lead, but Lennart here pushing to a +2, and that is definitely costing Cadilakor time. We have some AA coming into the bottom side. We have AA to the top side as well. That is going to be a Flak 37 on both sides of the map, I would assume. Cheux 42. That's going to be engaging the armoured rifles there and almost killing them off. Now this is a bit of a problem because without any infantry to support this push, this jumbo could be very blind, and even like at really close range, a side shot into this jumbo could do the job. That has 10 side armor, so within 400 meter range, you've probably got about 16 to 20% penetration chance. I'm not entirely sure if I'm correct with my maths there, but still a chance to penetrate us in the side armor. So fire position coming down there for the jumbo, but it's not quite on target. It's actually firing over the mark. MGMC, will it get one shot? Who knows. There is also an M5 gun on the way. And, well, here comes the HS-129. This Pak 36 needs to kill the MGMC. Or the ME109 can come in with a rocket strike. Here we go. Pak 36 does the job. Used its rocket, the Stillgranada 41, and that gets rid of the AA cover. I would have liked to have seen that happen before the HS-129 came in, since he was in range. But still, great job. Another ME109 G2 BR21 going to be coming in, smashing the M5 gun. That might also end up pinning down the jumbo if the jumbo sits in those flames. But currently that jumbo rolling on forwards to engage the Stuart 42. Now in the mid, meanwhile, Fusiliers have been brought up to provide more recon. Ersatz are still trying to move forwards against the half-tracks and armoured rifles here. But it's all down to this Jumbo, really. If the Jumbo can find the kill onto the Cheux 42, take out the Flak 36, a lot of ground could be made on this top side by Cadilakor. And I like the fact that he's still trying. There's that Stupin. Gonna be pinned down here in the mid. Fusiliers also being approached, but here comes a HS-129. That is the B3 with the 16 AP power. Now there is pretty much no AA left here. So it looks like Cadilakor is going to be trying to rely on a Mustang. And he has found his way onto the back of the HS-129 B3. And the HS-129 goes down. So slowly but surely, Lennart is actually losing ways in order to counter the Jumbo, which is interesting. However, another HS-129 on its way. Does Cadilakor have another Mustang to save the day? I'm not entirely sure he has. And at this rate, with the Jumbo falling back, side shot might do the job. It did. Looks like I might have jinxed Cadilakor there. HS-129 flying off into the distance. The MGMC is just that little bit too late. And that is a burn-in Jumbo. And Cadilakor has had enough. After 17 minutes and 28 seconds, that is a major defeat for Cadilakor. Losing that Jumbo, pushed him over the edge. And I don't know. I guess if you continued that game into Phase C, buying more Jumbos and continuing to try and pressure that way might have worked. But it would have been a long time needed to make that happen. And Lennart already had a pretty damn large lead, basically holding on to that +2 from about 10 minutes into the game. You could see he racked up a lot of points. So in terms of kills and losses, 1,355 kills to 635 losses for Lennart, over a 2-to-1 kill death, which is more than enough to win a game in a 1v1. Pack 36 taking out the MGMC there. That was just really, really well played by Lennart. The thing is, Cadilakor knew it was there, and he was trying to go for the fire position. You saw that happening. But the fire position was just placed in the wrong area, and I don't know if you can call that a mistake or being unlucky, but either way, it led to the MGMC dying to the Pack 36, and that just is tragic. Because without that AA, the HS-129s can freely come in and pick off your Jumbo. Now, I thought that with that HS-129 B3 being shot down, Lennart might have had, one less way to kill the Jumbo. But it seemed he had another HS-129 on hand and took advantage of the free airspace as soon as that Mustang left. So, yeah, well played anyway. M5A1 kills the Panzer 39. We had the M8 Scott kill some Ersatz. M5A1 did take out the IG-18 eventually, and the Mustang did get that HS-129 kill. But as we can see on the opposite side, this Pack 36 was the one that killed the MGMC that I was talking about. IG-18 killed the Bofors and 2 scouts on the top side, so Cadilakor there definitely having recon, but as we moved into the later phases, didn't really follow up with that, and I think it stung him quite hard, especially with those Panzer Abwehr squads sneaking up on him and popping his tanks. Like, that was just not very nice. This one here taking out both the M4A1 and the M5A1, and that kill from the HS-129 onto the Jumbo at the end of the day, finishing things off. This Pack 40 didn't really get loads of kills, but definitely enough to matter. And yeah, fantastic job by Lennart. And this means that Lennart will be moving on to round 3 of the Great Paradox Tourney. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this game. It's actually been a pretty interesting one in a sense that both players are good. It's just, it seems now that the mistakes are what's making a victory for the other player. So one thing that Val said to me recently was like Steel Division is a lot like chess, and it's the mistakes that win you games, like the mistakes of your opponent. And it definitely kind of showed in this one, I feel. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.